What's up, guys? Your boys, 22K13. I'm going to talk about 7 ups and 6 downs from last night's WWE Raw, June 1st. And this is coming from WhatCulture.com. We are in a weird, intriguing period of WWE booking right now. Fans who have been clamoring for the company to push different stars to the top of the card are getting their wish, while guys who have been on top for years are seemingly taking backseat roles as WWE moves ahead. Look at the main event scene. All 3 members of the Shield are dominating. John Cena, a 15-time world champion, has held the company Terry belt since WrestleMania and just lost clean as a sheep to WWE top developmental star Kevin Owens, this making Owens a huge star in one night. Randy Orton took 2 weeks off without an injury angle and never a mention on television in the interim. When Orton last was in the ring, he ate the pin in the Fatal 4-Way at Payback. Rather than put the Intercontinental Championship on Bad News Barrick or Dolph Ziggler again, WWE finally gave Ryback a chance to stink or swim with a single title. That is the backdrop against which the WWE Raw performed Monday night. With only 2 weeks to build up to and fill out a card for the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, Raw certainly took its sweet time, dedicating 3 matches to one spot in the Money in the Bank ladder match. Still, a WWE World Heavyweight Championship ladder match was announced and new stars continued to shine. But we also saw a couple frustration jobs and a heel turn that was met with more yawn than shock nook. So what climbed the ladder of success and what fell off the first run? Let's do this. The down. Number 6. Loyal Company Man. Maybe this is a bit much, but if most people would call a 7-foot piece of crap by a guy who has been verbally abusive for months, wouldn't that elicit some sort of response? A punch, a threat, or at least a verbal response? Kane has swallowed a lot in his run as the authority director of operations. He has shared his image as a powerful, destructive force to lose more than 90% of his televised matches this year as Triple H and Stephanie McMahon henchman. Just a few short weeks ago, it looked like Kane and Seth Rollins were headed for a collision, with Kane getting shielded instead of grown at for the first time in what felt like eons. Then Kane suddenly stopped revolting and rejoined the flock. Since then, he's been the loyal company man once again, taking verbal abuse and getting punched off the ring apron as he tried to interfere. When is enough for the former Big Red Monster? Number 5. Who booked a 13-minute DQ? After a 2-week break, Randy Orton returned to TV Monday night, which should be an up on its own. However, Orton was slated to wrestle Sheamus in his first match back. The two Money in the Bank ladder match participants fought for nearly 13 minutes before Sheamus used a steel chair to put Orton down, then laid him out with a couple bro kicks. This is one of those confusing moments that WWE often book. A lengthy match that ends in a disqualification and really only serves as angle advancement. In this case, Sheamus is moving on from bullying Dolph Ziggler to assaulting Orton, and that's fine. But eating up 13 minutes for a match like that, with Raw short on content Monday night, maybe it's quibbling a bit, but sitting through a 13-minute match that wasn't really hyped ahead of time, that end in a DQ is part of what creates problems with your audience. fans become disconnected and not invested when that sort of thing happens. WWE could have had Orton face Luke Harper with Sheamus on commentary and accomplish the same thing with Orton winning and the Celtic Warrior jumping him afterward. It also would have kept the two of them separate and the matchup a little fresher down the line. Number 4. Sonic Pitchman. Every television show has bills to pay, and as part of that, many programs rely on product placement and actor endorsement to help keep the lights on. Understanding that there are limitations to how far you reasonably can go with that sort of advertisement, and WWE Monday Night naturally ran right up to that line, and depending on your perspective, either dance on it or leap over it. New Day, the Mega Power, and Big Show all took turns pretending to drink Sonic milkshake for a fake commercial, failing miserably each time they needed to deliver their line. It was the type of bad comedy WWE thrived on, and it did nothing to help any of them. It also looked incredibly hokey, which is probably why you never see Randy Orton or someone like that taking part in one of these commercials. There are ways to do an in-show advertisement, but when you make your own talent look silly, it's probably not working how you anticipated. Number 3. Royal Cannon Fodder. Bad News Barry must have an allergic reaction to gold, whether he wins the Intercontinental Championship or the King of the Ring crown. Barry seems to be allergic to winning wrestling matches. It just defies all logic. WWE seems to be high on Barry, high enough to let him win 5 IC titles in the recently reactivated King of the Ring tournament, but instead of any of that leading to a win streak or a push or of any sort, Barry seems to sputter out and lose far more often than win. Since winning the King of the Ring tourney, Barry has lost twice as many matches as he won. Monday, Barry was brought out as the Authority first choice to call Roman Reigns his Money in the Bank ladder match spot. Barry and Reigns had a perfectly fine match, but Barry would ultimately lose. While you expect that given the stipulation, it's just another occasion where a bad news Barry push seemingly gets derailed and he flails. Besides, is that any way to treat a king? Number 2. The new face of jobbing. Similarly, how do you think Bray Wyatt feels after losing to Roman Reigns in his third match of the night? 2 months earlier, Wyatt stood toe-to-toe with The Undertaker, and Monday he lost fairly clean to a guy beaten up in 2 prior matches. To top it off, Bray ran into Kane, making him look that much more like a goof in the process. Wyatt was victorious at Payback over Ryback, injuring his ribcage in the process. He then traded wins with Dean Ambrose before taking last week in Elimination Chamber off. He returned to television Monday doing the Authority bidding, which was another unusual point for Bray, since when did the new face of fear run errands for Triple H and Stephanie McMahon? Roman needed to run through 3 guys per the Authority instruction to remain in the Money in the Bank ladder match. And while Reigns is a guy being built up, being that third man defeated by an injured competitor just doesn't look good, especially when Reigns Wyatt could be a pay-per-view match sometime down the line. Number 1. Does that count as a heel turn? Can we please stop pretending that the Bella Twins are the faces of the Diva division after an inexplicable face turn that no one really bought? Nikki made it abundantly clear that she was once again still a villainess during her title match against Paige. In this case, she channeled her inner Scott Steiner and did jumping jacks, push-ups, and crunches during the match to show off. Nikki then capped another Underwomen Diva match by defeating Paige with the devastating Twin Magic roll-up by Brie. This making it obvious for every fan who thought the Bella was somehow the Helen. Maybe WWE finally realized that no one outside of a handful of people were buying the Bella as faces and decide to make them more relevant by turning them back once again with no rhyme or reason whatsoever. What makes this even worse is that it basically proves everything Naomi, the just turned heel, has been saying about the Bellas is 100% true. To all the Bellas defenders out there, this is an act of desperation by WWE. The Bellas elicit minimal response from fans. They turn face for no reason. No one cheers them, so they turn them back heel for no reason. And still, no one has any reason to care. This isn't to question their dedication or effort, but what they doing isn't working, period. The ups. Number 7. Big Show versus Big Guy. This can be summed up smoothly. At least Big Show isn't feuding with Roman Reigns. Show returned to WWE after several weeks off and immediately made an impact, knocking out The Miz before his Intercontinental Championship match against new champ Ryback. Show got right in Ryback's face and declared that he might consider himself the big guy. But Show was the giant around here. Sure, plenty of fans groaned at the sight and thought of Big Show competing for a single title in 2015. But at least it's something new. If Ryback was able to horse Show on his shoulder and hit Shell Shock to defend the IC title, fans will react. This is by no means a big positive development, but it scored points for being a little different in getting the authority. Show still is with them, correct? Involved in the pursuit of the Intercontinental Championship. Number 6. San Antonio, fire up. A hot crowd can make all the difference in how a live event goes. Case in point, Monday Night Raw took place before a vocal San Antonio crowd, but it wasn't a snarky, super smart wrestling crowd. It felt like the thousand and attendants were just fans who showed up to enjoy the show, which is a great thing. But it's a completely different feel than, say, New York or Philadelphia with reaction. The Texas crowd went crazy for Roman Reigns and really got behind Titus O'Neil as he threw members of the New Day around the ring like rag dolls. John Cena got a pretty nice ovation, especially when he referenced the kid with cancer. Though it's quite possible they were applauding the kid and not Cena. And the reaction for Dean Ambrose at the very end of Raw was deafening. When you need to turn the volume down on the television, you know the audience is engaged. Number 5. Rusev will crush again. Unlike many before him, the Bulgarian Brute is proving week by week that he is more than just your typical foreign heel. That bowl will long term for him. Monday night, Rusev showed up on crutches to let fans know how he was holding up physically and emotionally since losing Lana and breaking his foot. Rusev sounded like a desperate man, talking about how he had no career or woman and had a broken ankle and a broken spirit. And I quote, "I am the one crushed this time," he lamented. Rusev then turned it around and played to get it all back. That might have been a small change in how he was presented, but made Rusev look vulnerable without looking pathetic. A monster heel like Rusev can have crack in the armor. It makes it easy to relate to him down the road. Number 4. Cena stepped up his game. Gives John Cena a lot of credit. When he has the right opponent, he elevates every aspect of his game. Cena often brings the good in the ring, but when he delivers on the mic and stops simply yelling or making shouted jokes, then you know he means business. Such was the case Monday night with Kevin Owens. Cena dinged Owens a few times, but his best line came when he called Owens a great wrestler, but not even a man. Later offering advice man to almost man, the United States champ praised Owens without mocking him, and Cena managed to make you understand and care about himself, even if it meant using a cancer-stricken kid to drive home the point. When Cena is delivering on the mic and taking his opponent seriously, it bodes well for the feud. This rivalry with Owens got off to a great start and looked like it could steal another show in less than 2 weeks, but Cena wasn't the only one who was golden on the mic. Number 3. Owens back up his action. Truth be told, Kevin Owens didn't need a raising detail in his quest to topple John Cena. Just wanting to mop the floor with a 15-time world champion would have been enough for most fans. Owens' story about how his young son loved John Cena and that blind worship of Super Cena needed to be exposed but was one that could have been skipped. Nonetheless, it's not a bad story, and it allowed Owen to show off his shot on the mic. It added layers to Owen talking about his son and doing this for him in a twisted manner of teaching him the truth. A lot of wrestlers over the years have dressed down Cena in front of a crowd, but Owen noted that a real role model doesn't rely on bright colors and catchphrases to be a hero with pretty powerful stuff. If nothing else, that promo should establish that Owen is not your typical snarling, angry bad guy. He a thinking man heel, a guy who honestly believes he's doing right by his family. That distinction helped separate himself from others. It was yet another solid outing on Raw for the NXT champion. Number 2. Ambrose is the real deal. Memo to the real authority of WWE. Dean Ambrose is not some flavor of the month. Week after week now, he's constantly been getting a solid reaction that only seemed to get louder. The pop when he won the WWE World Heavyweight Championship at Elimination Chamber was off the chart, and the response at the end of Raw Monday night was equally vocal. It's something WWE can't ignore, nor is it something where they can just shuttle him back down the card after the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. One theory being kicked around that makes a lot of sense would involve Ambrose actually winning the title in 2 weeks and his buddy Roman Reigns winning the Money in the Bank briefcase, this setting up an interesting relationship between the two friends. Reigns could cash in on Ambrose that night, or you can play it out over several weeks with Roman watching Dean back against the Authority but always a threat to cash in when he's vulnerable. Either way, Ambrose's resurging popularity had to be a pleasant surprise for WWE, one that the company best not squander. And number one, Rollins' ego gets the best of him. When Seth Rollins sputtered and fumed as Roman Reigns baited him, Rollins showed a side he hadn't really gotten to display a lot since becoming WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Pride, sure. Excuse me. Rollins is proud to be champion and gloat a lot, but Reigns struck a nerve when he pointed out that both of his Shield brethren had beaten him and then questioned why Seth couldn't win without their authority or mom and dad backing him up. Reigns successfully goaded Rollins into accepting Dean Ambrose's challenge to a ladder match for a world title at Money in the Bank. But what made it a great moment for Rollins was how he accepted, putting down his authority teammate, calling Kane a 7-foot piece of crap, and saying he doesn't need them to be successful before storming off. That sort of emotion had been missing from Rollins' promo and action, as everything had centered on merely keeping the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, not proving himself as a quality champion. Seeing that development was a welcome sight. A champion should be proud, regardless of whether he a heel or face. Well, that's it, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. See you guys on the next one. Peace.